Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox On Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just, fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. It all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lansing got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
White Sox fans, welcome into another edition of the Sox On Tap post-game show. It's Jonnie alongside Tony Marchese discussing a demoralizing White Sox loss. Tony, I got to start this off and say that I'm usually pretty good with words, you know me, but I'm running out of adjectives to describe some of these losses. And tonight, demoralizing was the only one I could think of that came to mind.
You're probably spot on. I think there's a lot of things that you could say as a White Sox fan about this ball game, Jonnie. None of them are really good. If you want to try and sum it up quickly, you are a wordsmith of sorts. And yeah, I'm right there with you. There's not a lot of things that are great, and demoralizing is probably a very good term for where we're at right now.
Yeah, we already used soul crushing earlier. I probably could have ran that one back, but we like to vary it up here on Sox On Tap. So that's what I went with. We're talking about a demoralizing White Sox loss. They fall 4-3 in 11 innings tonight in Baltimore. Before we get going here on the Sox On Tap postgame show, we've already got a couple in here. Thank you for doing that. But just about to mention, go and subscribe on Tap Sportsnet on YouTube or like on Tap Sportsnet on Facebook. Join the comment section. We got another good one here. The season has officially become a debacle. Bucket Hat 33, thank you. Think that one's a good one for a future, inevitable, tragic White Sox loss. So we'll get into this game in a little bit here, Tony. Man, it's just a tough one to stomach when I'm sitting here thinking about it. Obviously, we have plenty of crucial plays at different moments in this game, but overall, your defense really, really lets you down, and it shows when you don't score enough runs, and that is the exact formula that bit the White Sox in the ass tonight.
I'm just looking at Sal's comment right now.
So
I am broken, Sal.
Yeah,
I'm very broken right now. I'm so broken, dude. I don't know. There's another one in here from our guy Mike. I can't wait to talk about one-armed Luis Robert tonight. There's so many things that we've got to get to here. I am very broken. This is the most broken I've been. I don't know how many beers deep I am, Jonnie, but this is going to be an adventure.
I think you're going to need at least like a 6-pack more to get through this one. We got another one here. Jake, our guy Jake Trojan. What's up, Jake? Thanks for commenting. He says, depressing, dejected, disheartening, discouraging, emasculating, crippling, debilitating. Have your pick. I believe there has been a mix of depressing for sure. But
might
those
have to
other
hire
ones,
that guy to work in the White Sox writing department at Sportsnet with all those adjectives that are out there, Jonnie. You would love that.
Right, I do, and at
too bad he's playing minor league baseball right now. I think Jake Berger had a wrist injury that might prevent him from typing. But our guy Jake out there, Jake Berger, Trojan, thank you for the comment.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So go ahead and jump in the comments, share your frustrations here. That's what we're here to do, vent about the White Sox on the Sox On Tap post-game show. So, Tony, as I mentioned, 4-3 loss in extra innings tonight. Let's get into the game breakdown like we do, and obviously we'll come across these crucial points. It was a Lance Lynn day, and overall, I know there was an early mistake, but overall, you like what you see from him when he goes 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and 2 of those runs came via the home run, but overall, I was satisfied with the Lance Lynn outing tonight, and it's just a shame that they weren't able to fully lock it down in the end.
It is an absolute shame. If I'm Lance Lynn, I'm pretty pissed off about the end result of this game. I listened to some of his comments in the locker room in the post game. He sounds pretty down. I'm going to try not to sound as down as Lance Lynn was on this post-game show, but this was a good start from Lance, Jonnie. There were a lot of people questioning his stuff coming back off the injury. He took a little bit of time to ramp up. I thought he gave you enough tonight to win you a ball game. Yeah, it's rough to see this because I don't expect Lance Lynn to come out and be this absolute dominant force of a pitcher. I expect him to give you kind of what you see from Johnny Cueto almost, man. Like just keep
maybe
the
a little
team in
less
the ball
length,
game.
'cause
Yeah, a little less
a little bit
length
more
to it.
strikeout, but yeah, a little less length.
But
Yeah.
I think at this point in his career, there's almost that sort of trajectory where you need to figure it out, and he's figuring it out as he goes along here, still being effective. This was a really good start from him in comparison to what you saw earlier on 2022 Lance Lynn. So I was happy with what we saw out of our starter today.
I will go just a slightly different. And overall, like I said, I just listed off the numbers there and preface that. But I do want to say I'd gotten on Cease just a little bit the other night for the first inning stuff. And don't get me wrong, I understand the first innings where most runs in a baseball game are scored. When you go and look at it historically, when you go and look at recent trends, all of that kind of stuff. Obviously, you've seen the White Sox score a bunch in the first innings here as of late. However, leaving that fastball up there, that's just a killer when you've got a guy on base and the guy lifts it out to right field there for a 2-run shot. And it's like, I think, goddamn, why can't the White Sox do that with runners on base? But then on the flip side to that, sure, that was a mistake, but Lance did settle down, and that was the extent of the damage on him for the night. So overall, I think I can be satisfied. And there's only 3 hits allowed. If you listen to this post-game show last night, Steve and I, when we were previewing the series finale, we talked about Lynn possibility for more strikeouts tonight because there's a little more swing and miss in the Baltimore lineup. There you go. There you have it. We need another reason to tune in to Sox on Tap. We just spit facts only here, Tony. We're the facts machine.
You have to be a fax machine sometimes, Johnny. You just have to. I'm glad you and Steve got to talk about a win last night. I'm a little jealous right now.
Yeah,
that you guys got to talk about the win. I had the book-ending losses in this series. Nothing's coming up Tony right now.
Yeah, right. So we're not trying to sugarcoat any of this. There's plenty of to get to, but there was a little bit more positive stuff early on in the game. Hey, interesting call. Tony La Russa going to Andrew Vaughn in the leadoff spot. It's only his second game of his career, I believe, that he hit in the leadoff role. But he did deliver. Very first pitch of the game, Tony, home run. It did kind of carry him around and wasn't sure if it was a home run at first, but that was a nice hashtag set the tone moment.
It was a great set the tone moment. I'll be honest, I missed it. I thought this game started at 6:10. Didn't look at the schedule. Thought I had an extra 5 minutes to grab beers, get things set up.
Wow. Turn
the TV on. The Sox are up 1-0. You talk about some of these things. Didn't even get to really experience it. Actually, saw it on the Twitter, Johnny. I missed that play. I was glad though that Andrew Vaughn came out there and set the tone. But man, I've got a real problem with set the tone these days, Johnny, because it seems like when the tone gets set, the Sox are failing 9 times out of 10. When we're happy early, things don't seem to play out our way. I don't know what that is. Is it a wrong tone setting? I don't know what's going on here, Johnny. I can't figure it out.
They're like the White Sox are like, you set the tone early, right? But then the White Sox are like the little kid that like climbs up over the front seat of the car and then fucks with all the buttons. So then the tone gets all out of whack.
Yeah, we've got to figure out a way to fix that though.
Right.
There's got to be a way to continuously carry the message throughout the next few innings there. I will say this, Andrew Vaughn in the leadoff spot, not your traditional guy. Our guy Besnick was out at the pregame show live, was talking to Ozzie a little bit about Andrew Vaughn in the leadoff spot. He shared some video that he got of Ozzie talking about this, Johnny. And in that video, he said, this team doesn't have a lot of speed, so it doesn't really matter who you kind of throw there. I'm a big speed in the leadoff role guy. I would tend to agree with what Ozzie says, Johnny. There's not that traditional guy that's got the base running awareness, the speed, the Scotty Pods typical type leadoff guy. But if you have Andrew Vaughn there, and he hits a home run, I don't think anybody's arguing with that
Right.
result.
And I think I'll just squash that argument right now, Tony. It's fine to prefer what you want in the leadoff spot, but I'll squash it and say that we had our guy there and Tim Anderson, but he's on the shelf with a wrist injury. So that would kind of solve all of these, and he would still be in the leadoff role, no doubt in my mind, if he were healthy. So let's move on through the rest of this game, Tony, because there's a shit ton to talk about when we're going on this. White Sox, Orioles bounce back after that. As I mentioned, the Lance Lynn home run that was given up, Santander blast one out to right field. 2-run shot puts Baltimore in the lead. And then we get a plethora of White Sox missed opportunities. They would not score again until the 7th inning. Just top of the 3rd, top of the 4th. You get 1st and 3rd with 1 out in the 3rd. 1st and 2nd, 1 out in the 4th. Missed opportunities overall in the night, Tony. This is going to play into our comment that our guy White Sox Sal just dropped in. But the White Sox go 2 for 3 with runners in scoring position. And he says, how about being more opportunistic? Thank you. That's my favorite, one of my favorite words in the English language. And the White Sox aren't able to do it consistently, Tony. Make me sick.
I don't have anything else to follow it up with, Johnny. It's not good. It hasn't been good all year. It's quite honestly been pretty fucking terrible, if you ask me.
Let's transition that into another hot topic here that we're going to have coming up here. And I know there's another instance later in the game where it might have been a little bit more kind of flagrant, maybe, if that's the word to describe it, or noticeable. But when you're talking about that,
I love the adjectives that are flowing on tonight's show, Johnny.
The top of
flagrant
the 3rd
was fantastic.
So I talked about a couple of those missed opportunities, Tony, and one of those was the top of the 3rd, and I mentioned a 1st and 3rd situation. But Robert is the one that comes up after that. You would think 3-hitter, great, Luis Robert. He's granted a little aggressive, however, he is a good hitter. He when he's healthy, that is the key word there. When he's healthy, because Tony La Russa really doesn't see that Robert has one arm. This has been going on 2 nights now. Once again, you listened to Sox on Tap last night. Steve and I discussed at the end of it, Luis Robert swinging with like one hand. And it's really awkward. And that left wrist is still bothering him, obviously. Very blatant, clear as day, from that slide that he had. Was it almost 2 weeks ago now? We're talking about on that Friday night game against Detroit. And Tony, I think we were all clamoring for it since he was out of the lineup almost a week in between there. They should have just shelved him because obviously it's still bothering him. I know he got back in there and he's done a couple of things since then, but over this Baltimore series, it's been atrocious and blatantly obvious, and it just looks bad. It looks bad as a team, especially when that guy's in your 3-hole too.
I would wholeheartedly agree with both of you. This is absolutely atrocious. To me, this is more of an indictment on the White Sox training staff than anybody else. This is the same training staff that has guys not running out ground balls to first base because they want to save their legs for the stretch. We're in the fucking stretch. And here's a guy in the 3-hole. And, it gets even weirder here, Johnny. Let's go down the rabbit hole. There was a graphic that was released a couple of days ago about teams who, have the amount of baseball analytics people within their organization. A couple of months ago, the White Sox made it a point to let everybody know that your baseball analytics department was helping Tony La Russa make these lineups. They've made it a point throughout this season to say that your training staff is the reason why guys aren't running out ground balls. They've been so uber conservative with everything in terms of health with this team. Michael Kopech leaves a game at 85 pitches with a no-hitter because they're trying to save him. They've been so snake-bitten by every single one of these decisions that anybody's making on the data that they have.
Yeah.
So in terms, I understand people who want to make the argument, you work with the data. They've tried to do that. And they've made a point to tell you, we're looking at data here. We're trying to save these guys. We're trying to do, and every single time that they do that, the media will scream at TLR and say it's his fault. But on the same note, Nobody's going after the fact that you have the least amount of baseball analytics people out of any major league ball club outside of one other team on your roster. And where's the resources to go and fix this? Ever since Herm Schneider's left, this team seemingly can't stay off of the IL after being one of the most healthy ball clubs for a long fucking time.
I thought it was interesting. You even saw a little bit of like snarl from Steve Stone when you're talking about the injuries getting ridiculous and piling up. I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting, getting the comments there from the broadcast team itself. Feels like Steve Stone might be, they're in the last year. The contract might be on the way out. That's the kind of vibe that I get when I hear stuff like that. But obviously, Robert's hand's still a problem, something that we discussed last night.
How was he in the lineup, Johnny?
Right.
How was he in the lineup? With a team that is saving guys' legs, why is Luis Robert up to bat swinging with one fucking hand?
Right.
For 2 straight days.
Tony,
it makes no sense.
It's a double-edged sword when you go and like think about that, though, because I will say, like, we were all kind of like, wondering why the hell Robert was just sitting for like a week, especially during that Astros series. And luckily they were able to pull off 2 games during that stretch. However, and I know the end of that Detroit series too, prior to that, but we're all wondering, if Robert's here, like, why can't he go? So we're all kind of clamoring for him to be in, right? But he never went on the IL. There was never a stint for it. And then he eventually comes back. And then it's like, okay, well, he's back, so you should play him. But then obviously you go and see shit like this, and then it's why the hell is he in the lineup? So it's just an interesting continuum of the discussion, Tony, that we're sitting here having on the Sox on Tap post-game show on 10:30 on a Thursday night. And we're gonna keep ripping our hair out over more things in this episode, because that's not the only kind of misplay here. All right, we were on that subject because Luis Robert came up in a spot in the third with runners in scoring position and a chance to give the White Sox some runs there. But let's go. White Sox were able to tie it up in the 7th. It was on a Harrison grounding into a fielder's choice that tied it up at the time. And then Jose Abreu, some MVP shit, taking the lead. He was only 1 for 5 tonight, but he did it when it counted. And this should have been the game-winning run, Tony.
Should have been the game-winning run. And credit to Jose Abreu for doing what he's been doing all August, hitting a single, doing exactly what Frank Menachino wants him to do, Johnny, and driving a run in. I mean, this is all you can ask for from Jose Abreu. I did not have a lot of faith when he stepped up to the plate to get this done.
Yeah, especially how he was chasing last night.
Yes, but I did not have any faith in this. So I thought that was a really good thing when he came through there, at least for his confidence for this White Sox team. The feelings were great at that moment. The feelings were great because you have a chance to take the series. You as a White Sox fan are watching this, knowing that Cleveland lost tonight.
Yep.
And
Minnesota was Sox, losing.
Yep. And like at that exact moment, the vibes were good. Like it felt good. Here's your MVP coming through when you need him in the clutch. We've had some problems with that lately. That's like a page turn in a book. Unfortunately, people had to read some really scary stuff afterwards. But in that moment, as a consumer, you're sitting there going, okay, here we go.
Right. And it should have been. So let's get to that situation, Tony. And we go into, a good job by Reynaldo Lopez and James Lambo, shutting the door there in their 7th and 8th innings, respectively. And then Liam Hendricks comes in. He gets the first 2 outs, and then it looks like he gets 3rd out. Pop fly down the left field line. Adam Engel in as a defensive replacement, and Engel just overruns the ball a little bit, takes his eye off it maybe a little bit. Ball hits off the heel of his glove, stays in play. Guess what? What do you know? Home run. That batter there. Stowers, first home run of the year too. So of course
first home run of his career.
That's a very hashtag that's so White Sox moment there. But in this one, Tony, go ahead and blow it up, the Adam Engel play here, because I will say he did own up to it afterward, but that does not change the outcome here. And he should have locked down a White Sox victory and had been high-fiving his teammates instead. Now we're talking about having to answer for it in the post-game show.
I've said this before on this show, Johnny. the White Sox have not afforded themselves to have those kind of moments at this point in the season. If this is an April, May ball game, and I know people will jump on you and say, oh, well, these ball games matter too. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. That's fine. But if the White Sox lose that ball game in April or May, I'm probably not as mad. And the reason why I'm not as mad is because there's a
you're still mad. Are you pissed though? Like,
no, but this one pisses me off.
Yeah.
This one pisses me off because you're towards the end of your season. You know exactly what you're playing for. You're a guy who came in as a defensive replacement. And I've said this about Adam Engel for a long time, and I've given Adam Engel a lot of credit for improving with the bat and doing just some things that I did not think that Adam Engel was going to do when he came up with the White Sox and just didn't really do a lot on the offensive side of the game. He's gotten better there. But I've always said, back to our Shy Sox weekly days, Johnny, that a White Sox winning ball club would have Adam Engel as your late inning defensive replacement or a pinch runner. I've always said that.
Did you disprove yourself here?
Yeah, he had one job and he fucked it up.
Yeah, our guy Sal in the comments again. On a fucking heater in the comments here. I love it.
That was what Adam Engel was supposed to be there for this White Sox team. It feels cursed, man. It honestly feels cursed because that's the guy who was supposed to come in and be able to make that catch. You know, we talk about it, and I tweeted it after. Eloy Jimenez would have made that catch. And people are like, oh, well, Adam Engel was worried about the wall. Well, guess what? Eloy Jimenez wouldn't have been worried about a fucking wall.
You've seen him run into that after.
You've seen him run into a million walls. You want to get mad at, like, this is crazy stuff. This is absolutely crazy stuff. You can't make this up. You can't make it up. The guy who wouldn't have cared about a wall would have caught the ball and everybody would have been mad because he got injured. And then there's your defensive specialist that you bring in the late ball game. There's not one person that I saw say online, I'm mad that Tony La Russa brought Adam Engel into that situation.
Right.
Managed it fucking correctly.
Yeah.
Guess what? The result didn't work.
Yeah.
I want to see the same fucking passion and anger from people coming after TLR for bringing Adam Engel into that game because he lost it when he dropped that fucking ball. That's, dude,
right.
The result is what matters. If we sit here and say
the scrutiny can carry over from the process, which don't get me wrong, I understand that in the right decision-making process. I do understand that, but the scrutiny should carry over from there to the performance on the field too. Sure, errors happen sometimes, but get on them when it fucking happens. Like, yeah, sure, it's not Tony La Russa's fault that Adam Engel dropped the ball. It's Adam Engel's fault that Adam Engel dropped the ball, and he feels like shit about it, understandably so. But I agree with that passion sort of comment about it.
I'll double down on this.
Yeah.
Right man, wrong spot. Last night, we saw Gavin Sheets hit for himself when everybody was saying there's no reason that he should be in there to face a lefty. Sometimes when you manage on intuition and you have that feeling, you're going to be wrong. But the process still carries the same weight because it's the result that matters. Right man, wrong spot. Sometimes it's wrong man, right spot for him. And I really, truly believe, Johnny, that TLR manages based a lot on intuition. And sometimes he goes with what the data set tells him. But tonight, I didn't see the hate for TLR putting Adam Engel in there.
I don't think it was deserved. And like I said, I think
it's not deserved for anybody to go after him that way.
And that falls on Adam Engel. I know Adam Engel feels that as well, based on his comments post game here. So that was not the end of this game, though, because that home run only tied it up in the ninth, Tony. We don't need to trudge through the extras too much in detail here. However, pretty wizard-like job of Joe Kelly in the 10th to escape that. And then obviously White Sox giving it up. Jake Diekman and Santander brings in the game-winning run. The thing that our guy Jake Georgian brings up here, you got to get one of those singles and extras through too. You don't advance a runner either time in extra innings. I was appalled that they didn't do it the first time. Then the second time, I thought they can't even make outs correctly. If you're gonna get out, don't pop out to the first baseman, hit a ground ball on the first base side, to second base so your guy can at least get over to third. If you're going to make an out, even better, just hit the ball out of the ballpark or hit a single, whatever it may be, hit a double, anything. But it just, that is what really kind of chaps my ass there. You go and dig into, sure, there was a little bit of, like I said, wizardry by Joe Kelly and whatnot there. But if we're talking about extra innings here, this is really what I want to get into. And the White Sox not even be able to advance a runner with 6 outs to do so.
I've got to go back here, Johnny, just a second and talk about Bautista for 1 second. This kid is unreal. And you want to talk about, we said it in the first post game of this, Steve and I.
Jason Benetti creaming over the other team's players now?
I'm not Jason Benetti creaming over the other team's players. I'm actually going to call that out. So let's take 2 steps back and then we'll take 1 step forward. The Orioles, they're a good baseball team right now. Bautista is definitely a problem for the White Sox. This dude reminds me a little bit of Jose Contreras, Johnny. That splitter. I know that Contreras threw the fork ball, but just the downward fucking trajectory of those pitches, very difficult for White Sox hitters. They're a good team. Give credit where credit's due. Now, where I'm pissed, that guy just went 2 innings against us.
After going a multi-inning save, or multi-inning situation in the previous game of the series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is that for the White Sox? Where?
Yeah. Where's the balls?
Where? Why can you not have a guy that's able to go? I was told that when Liam Hendricks was signed, this is a guy that you could just use in the 6th or 7th inning to go multiple innings and get the job done, because that's the highest leverage situation.
You're going back to the training staff now and what they did.
Now we're just going to unravel this whole fucking thing. I saw Matt Spiegel, 670 the score, go after Jimmy Lambert in the 8th inning. Dude was fucking nails. He could have probably went 2 and you could have saved Liam Hendricks for the 10th inning. Like, it's weird when you get to this point, Johnny, and you start to question some of this shit, because other teams have the ability to throw guys like Clase, Bautista, multiple innings, back-to-back days, 3-4 days in a row. And then we look at our bullpen that we've spent enormous amounts of fucking money on. Enormous amounts of money.
Yeah.
And if you can't figure out how to get that job done, it makes no fucking sense. It pisses me off.
If you buy nice toys,
#mad online.
If you buy nice toys, shouldn't you be allowed to play with them as much as you want, right?
Yeah, but like,
dude,
the White Sox are the guy that buys the Hellcat and gets pulled over for going 5 over on a 35.
Yeah, they just cuck. They cuck big time, Tony. I'm just going to go ahead and is something that Rick Hahn said to not deflect blame here. And this isn't solely on tonight's loss. It's more of a general theme. I'm just going to go ahead and say that they'll just clear out the whole White Sox training staff, everything that's going on there. It's time to clear it out. I'm sorry. It might be some misplaced blame there, but it's time after seeing the atrocities that have gone on this year. Obviously, plenty of player injuries, and then you talk about usage like that. Why can't we use guys in that manner? So, and like you said, when Liam Hendricks is sold to you as a guy that, he's, gung-ho, wants to go all of this and that. I know he did have a little bit of an injury issue earlier this year with the forearm and whatever, but it's go time right now. And when the fuck else? What else are we saving it for? I know these guys have careers and whatever and this and that, but if you would have asked Liam Hendricks, I would have imagined that he would be the guy that wants to go all the time, especially when we're talking about this stuff.
So why is he not back out there for another inning, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it worked. I know it worked.
It was wizardry by Joe Kelly. Yeah, so that's what I go back to, and that's why I would just go ahead and say, all right, adios. Here's your papers at the end of the year. Here's your walk papers. But Tony, this one you talked about the rest. Looking around, a scoreboard watching here. The Guardians lose. We can't get a final. I can #confirm that the Twins lost as well. It is so inopportunistic when you go and miss a chance like that to go and gain some ground. So yeah, sure, the White Sox stay, where it was. They didn't lose any ground tonight, but God damn. And I know these guys got some tough series, but I'm pretty sure Cleveland's out in Seattle for the extended weekend. I know Minnesota's in Houston or whatever. But my God, you need to start making some jumps here, and this is the perfect night to do it. And Tony, for me, it gives me no faith at all that they'll be able to do it at any point because we've been waiting and waiting and waiting on this. Right now, I don't feel like it's going to happen, and it's a sinking feeling in my stomach.
This is probably the most broken you'll get me on Sox on Tap, although we have no idea what the next month holds.
Feels like we've been saying that since June, man.
We have. We've been saying it since
feels
May.
like a Motley Crue song. Same old story, same old situation, same old ball and chain.
I've got so many people to blame. Like NWI Steve is probably at the top of my list. Just those
deservedly so.
The negative vibes that man brings to this show and to the Twitter timeline, like I feel like we deserve this. Like we're living in the story that he's writing. I don't want to live there anymore, Johnny. I'm broken. I've had a lot of beers. I just need something.
Demoralized? That be a word they use.
Demoralized. I'm demoralized. I was trying to stay away from the adjectives that you had on the.
I mean, it's the title of the show. You should plug it a couple times. I mean, just shameless.
I'm glad you brought it back. Sale in here. This team can't get any momentum.
They hate momentum. They hate Lady Mo. It's ridiculous. I don't know what they did, but they definitely pissed her off.
You would think that Tony La Russa out eating, seafood last night would have brought the vibes, man. Just trying to figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
It's tough to figure out where we go from here, but there is always a direction, at least for this next little month plus stretch here, and that will be a next game, and that is back home, opening up the longest homestand of the year. Arizona Diamondbacks are in town. Once again, we've said this so many times, a team they should beat, but that is the case. Once again, it's right.
Can we change it to team they have to beat?
Yeah. There we go. I like that. I like the language tone change there. It'll be Johnny Cueto going for the White Sox, so that does bring some good vibes. Obviously, outstanding AL Player of the Week over this last week, and he'll be going up against a guy named Tommy Hendry. Tony, I put this out on Twitter, but it is crushing as this all is, and as demoralized as I am, I ain't going anywhere. What am I going to do? Become a Cubs fan? Become a Brewers fan? Become a Cardinals fan? It's not fucking happening. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be out at 35th and Shields on Friday night. And I'm going to be harassing this guy, heckling him. Excuse me, harassing is probably not the best word there. I'll be heckling him.
Let's not harass people.
With Tommy DeVito lines from Goodfellas. Hey, Hendry. Tommy Hendry. It's going to happen. They need any help that they can get at this point. So I'm going to try and do that from the third base line.
I'm hoping you are. Our guy Sale says broken post game tomorrow with Steve and Tony. But I also just saw a comment come in right behind him. This guy made his podcast debut last night over on Cubs on Tap. We're playing the Diamondbacks. Our guy Brian, who cuts all these nice video clips of us just spouting off about the Sox all the time. We're playing his favorite team, the Diamondbacks. I might try and get Brian on the show tomorrow. Talk about whatever's going on with the Diamondbacks and, the White Sox. He's a Chicago guy. He's well versed in both teams. Mad Bum getting skipped, so no Ting Hoff on him for 4 innings. Might have to bring Brian on the show tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I love it. Shout out to our guy, Brian. So like you said, does great video work here for us here at On Tap Sportsnet. But yeah, he's a Dbacks guy. So I think it'd be good to get a little perspective there as I will be out at the ballpark. Not sure what NWI Steve's arrangement is, but I think that's a good idea. All right, Tony, let's get into some picks to click because all we can do is trudge forward, and we're going to. It's like I said, we can sit here and sulk all night, but at the same time, at some point, tomorrow's going to come. We're going to have to get up, and we're all going to go and watch this team again because once you get into this shit, there's no getting out.
Mm-mm.
There's no exiting this until you're in the ground. So let's go. Who's helping the White Sox get a win on Friday night?
I'm very impressed with Gavin Sheets right now, Johnny. I know that you picked him last night. I said yesterday that I'm going to double down with you. on some Gavin Sheets today, and he kind of came through in a couple of at bats. I was really impressed with it. I would say that the advanced scouting report on this guy is he's been working very fucking hard in the backyard. Steve Stone was given some credit the other night about how hard he wants to play for his dad. And, I want him to carry that back to Chicago. That's something that we talked about yesterday. So I'm going to go with my boy Gavin Sheets. I know you're going to be in attendance. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. That's up to our guy Tony La Russa. But Jonnie, if the Sox are down and Gavin Sheets is in the ball game in the 6th or 7th inning, I'm going to ask you, go get yourself a funnel cake and just leave it on your lap.
Yeah.
And maybe Gavin Sheets might make you flip that funnel cake
we'll summon
into
the
air
run
and cover you in powdered sugar. Gavin Sheets is going to get the job done.
We're going to summon it. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Summon it via ballpark food. All right. I like that, Tony. I went with Gavin Sheets tonight. He did have a double, I believe, in tonight's game. So that wasn't a bad pick at all by me. He has been hot as of late, so that's nice to see. All right. One knock on AJ Pollock's game has been that he cannot hit right-handed pitchers. Well, guess what? This Tommy Hendry guy is a left-hander. Let's go. AJ Pollock knocking out of the park. I would assume he'll be back in the lineup after being absent tonight. So I'm going to go with number 18. I know there's a lot of splits and Fangraph stuff that can go against this guy, but I believe go on the flip side of that, as opposed to his like 66 weighted runs created plus against righties, it's close to like 140 or some shit against left-handers. So I'm going to go with AJ Pollock. I would imagine that would be the smart lineup choice, having him back in on Friday night. So
you think he's going to get that leadoff spot, Jonnie?
I don't know. I mean, after tonight, I feel like that's kind of up for grabs, but I do believe he will be in the lineup somewhere.
I mean, are you going back to Andrew? This is the last thing I want to really dig into. Are you going back to Andrew Vaughn? Why not get crazy with it?
Yeah, I mean, it worked. I don't know. I mean, I could easily see AJ Pollock sliding right back in there because he had occupied that, and you're also having the matchup there. So you may want to put one of your best hitters against left-handers, or guy who's hot or hits them well, matches up well if you're playing that game. But at the same time, you wouldn't be too far removed. I mean, shit, you go with him in the 2 spot, right? You want to probably pile up some righties there at the top of the order. Maybe you go Vaughn, Pollock, Eloy. I don't know.
Yeah. One thing that we didn't mention tonight, though, Jonnie, is that Yohan Moncada left tonight's ball game.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I was just thinking Yohan Moncada in the leadoff spot, but he left.
No.
Might have some problems there. Jake Berger also got hit by a pitch in the hand the other night, and he went to the minor league IL. It's Josh Harrison, your third baseman, if Yohan Moncada's injured. I forgot to talk about this because there was a lot that went on. I don't mean to extend the show, but that could be some problems, dude.
It's not great. I mean, you don't like to see the injuries pile up. Like I said, Steve Stone, what he kind of said when he was kind of like baffled by it and outwardly voiced that. I feel like that was something that he was more reserved on earlier in the year. When he said that's when you know it's getting egregious here. And we've all known it for the longest time. So, Yohan, I don't know. I will say that he did stay in the game after that for at least 3 innings after the kind of play that tweaked it right when he came in and charged that bunt, made a nice play to throw a runner out at first base and take away a single there. I don't know. I feel like this is something that may not be long-term, but at the same time, I'm not totally confident that we'll see him tonight, maybe even tomorrow. Interesting, but either way, it's not a great outlook for a team that needs all the help that I can get right now. And our guy Sal says, is anyone missing Lurie yet? I mean, to fill in, sure. Yeah. Art, hustle, Swiss Army knife.
I would absolutely agree. I don't want to take everybody to task here, but this is where Lurie should be, is in this situation, specifically where you're down a middle infielder, your depth chart's kind of banged up at third base. Second base has kind of been a question. You had to go sign Elvis Andrews to help you out here. Are you missing Lurvy right now? I would say, Johnny, absolutely.
The versatility.
You're missing a guy that has versatility.
He was not doing anything at the plate, though, so you're not missing anything in that regard. And obviously, there was the switch hitting sort of dynamic to that, but it really just hasn't shown up there. But in terms of plug and play, Swiss Army knife style, absolutely, sure. You're missing a guy. It's a guy off the bench that's somewhere that you can just plug and play. I mean, how many managers have that luxury of a guy that can literally play almost every position that's not first base, pitcher, catcher? He does it all. Other than that, essentially,
it's interesting times we live in here, Johnny. Interesting times.
Yeah, interesting times indeed, Tony. But that'll about do it here for this edition of Sox on Tap. We appreciate everybody that's been in here in the comment section tonight. You can go and join them for future shows on Tap Sportsnet on YouTube and Facebook. It's where you need to go. Go and like those pages. Jump in here when we go live. We can feature them during the show. Go and visit ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Give us a follow on social media at Sox on Tap and at On Tap Sportsnet. Tony, hit me with a final word of wisdom before we sign off for the night.
I'm just happy that I didn't die during this episode. That's pretty much all I've got to say. I mean, I thought that I would either have a heart attack or alcohol poisoning by the time we finish this. We survived those. We get to watch White Sox baseball tomorrow, where we get to play this game again. Johnny, that's all I've got.
We're not going anywhere. We're here, thick and thin. I'll stick with the Goodfellas theme one last time. It's Tommy Hendry on the mound. We're going to be hitting him like bing, pow, boom. You'll see the papers tomorrow. So that's what I've got. Till next time, White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.